Alright guys, I am excited to ride the Kawasaki Z900 today. This bike is actually a bike I was considering buying when I was just trying to decide between the BMW S1000R and the bike that I own now, which is the KTM 1290 Super Duke R. The Z900 was in the running too. I love the way this bike looks. So we're here on the 2021 Z900. I was actually mistaken. I went to go on a different ride here at the IMS outdoors in Sonoma, California. Ended up at the wrong dealer, so I rushed over here, barely got in. And so if I give you any generic information, I will make sure it's on the screen so that you guys can have that information available to you accurately. But I will give you my feedback on how I enjoy riding this bike, what it feels like. We'll talk about all the different aspects of it as we get going here, and we're gonna have a lot of fun. So come along with me. Here we go. Nice clear display. Oh, this bike feels just right off the bat. You know, it's I won't say it's too bad. But had I ridden this bike, I don't know, just right off the bat, getting a feeling of the riding position, throttle response right off the bat, just the overall feel of this motorcycle is very, very nice, especially for somebody my size, which I'll let you know, I'm 5'6", and I have about a 30-inch inseam. I have a kind of long-ish arms for my height. My arm span's about 5'11". And man, this bike just fits me like a glove. The seat height here I'll put up for you on the screen. It makes it so that I can, when we were stopped there, I could almost flat foot both sides, but firmly get both feet down, which is if you're something that you're concerned about. You know, it's a lot of for a sport naked bike, which the Z900 is, the seat height is a very approachable seat height, and as opposed to like if you're looking at like a Kawasaki Ninja, where your seat height's going to be up a little bit higher, obviously you're going to be in a more of a tuck riding position. So this is just very, very comfortable, very, very approachable, and something that I think if maybe you're somebody who is looking into getting to the sport naked segment, it's going to be something that you're going to definitely want to consider. Like I said, I wasn't able to get a dealer to allow me to ride it, even though I was interested in buying it. For some reason, they just wouldn't allow me to ride the motorcycle unless I had basically signed paperwork saying I was going to buy it. So that was kind of a drag, but here we are finally on the Z900, getting a chance to ride it. Throttle response is, I wouldn't say touchy, but definitely, you know, when you let that clutch out, if you're going to let it out all at once, you're going to get surged forward. There's definitely ride modes available. As you can see here on the display, we're in road mode right now. Very clear. You got all the information that you need here on the display. You've got the speed nice and large against the black backdrop. You got the white letters, or the white numerals. You got the tachometer just above. You got a trip A, which I'm assuming there'd be a trip B as well. You got your engine temperature, time, your battery life, or your battery voltage. Yeah, you gotta be that throttle is a little touchy. But that's nice. That's really nice sporty feel. I'm sitting forward in the seat there just because, you know, as a shorter person, to get my feet down, and you get a little bit of an engine vibration there between your knees, and so I got scoot back because it's kind of uncomfortable. I don't know this bike this well, so I don't really feel like that was very appropriate. But 6th gear, I probably don't even need to be in 6th gear right now. Well, I'll put the horsepower and torque numbers down on this motorcycle. You're getting very close to a liter bike here at the 900cc engine, but still, you know, as you get closer to that liter mark, I know that some riders are intimidated by that. I think that you could probably pop this bike into a mode like rain mode and get a little less torquiness in the throttle. But as is, you know, for me, I've been riding for about a dozen years, and this is just a nice feeling as far as the throttle response. All right, really getting into this turn. That's nice. That's very nice. Very confident in that turn. This bike's really well balanced. Sometimes you get on a sport naked or a sportier bike, it feels a little top heavy. I know I felt that way when I sat on the Aprilia Shiver, but this bike isn't like that. And just an overall very nice feeling. Suspension here is really nice too. This is a kind of a road that's been well kept, so not a lot of undulations or potholes or anything like that. But I can tell you, just suspension is tight. We're going to try and make a fast stop here because all of Kawasaki's new bikes come standard with ABS. Actually, you know what? I might have to correct myself. I don't know that all of Kawasaki's bikes come with ABS, but all of the bikes here in the demo have ABS. We had to stop fairly quickly there, and I felt like just the right amount of grippiness in those brakes. I'll have those specs for you on the brakes as well, and the suspension, since we talked about that. Getting to a point here where getting behind some cars and some slower riders, so it's kind of funny because I don't think that it's the car here in front of us that's slowing us down. It's the rider in front of it that's going a little slow. Doesn't happen all too often, but it happens. So again, riding position is very common to seat so that you can get into a little bit more of a tucked position and lean forward if you want to. It does feel, as opposed to my Sport Naked, which is a KTM 1290 Super Duke R, a little bit closer to the gauge here, and the front end feels a little bit closer than my bike does. Kind of feels like a small rake, and I'll put the rake here, the rake angle on this bike. It feels like you're right over the top of this front tire, which I think is better for handling. And I can tell you, this bike handleability is excellent. As we're getting into that turn, hopefully we'll get into some more bit of a twisty turns and not just those broad sweeping ones, and we can test it out even more. Stock exhaust sounds very nice. I like the sound of this exhaust. It has a nice deep sound. You know, it's not like a throaty cruiser or like a growly sound, but in comparison to some other standard exhausts, it has a nice low note, and then when you get up into the higher RPMs, it sounds like your typical sport bike. Yeah, that vibration in the tank when I'm hugging it with my knees, it's a little much. I don't know if you guys are Z900 owners or someone who's test ridden the Z900. How'd you feel about that? I feel assaulted. But when you get past 5,000 RPM, that's when you start to feel that vibration in the tank and in between your knees from the engine, and it's just a little uncomfortable. All right, it looks like we're turning around a little early. Got some supercars over there. Hello. So yeah, we're getting our feet down here. Yeah, like I said, can't really flat foot, but we're getting a good. It's not a tiptoe. Nice flat ball of my foot down, and very confident here. I mean, if I slide forward in the seat even more, I can almost get flat feet down, but like I was saying, I don't much appreciate being close to the tank on this motorcycle. A little bit of gravel here, got to be careful. Guy's got a passenger too. Self-canceling turn signal? No self-canceling. So let's see how long we can go without putting our foot down. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That's kind of my personal test on how well balanced the bike is. The center of gravity, if it's high, is how long can I? Because I got pretty good balance as far as staying on two wheels without putting my feet down. So all that practice riding bicycles when I was younger, which doesn't seem like a lot of kids these days are riding bicycles like they did when we were younger. That was one of the things that we would do, and that's what riding motorcycles has become very nostalgic for me, because you know, you grow up riding bicycles, and I know a lot of some of my friends growing up rode dirt bikes too, and riding motorcycles for me is something that just takes me back, makes you feel young again. Not that I'm old, but it takes you to that happy place, right? Whew. That's nice. So here we go, 6,000 RPM. You can feel that tank vibration. So yeah, you get up to speed nice and quick on this motorcycle. You know, sometimes I'll recommend bikes like this to newer riders, not new riders. This is definitely probably a little much for a new rider, but if you're looking to upgrade from your first bike, I'd say this is probably on the top end of what you're going to want to explore, maybe for a second motorcycle after you've gotten confident with your skill level. It's a little touchy in the throttle. Some of you might disagree with me, but coming from the mindset of a newer rider, this is, like I said, this is probably maxed out what you want to be able to handle for a second motorcycle. The nice thing about this is once you get used to the throttle response, you're going to find yourself enjoying this bike for much longer after that too. You know, some people maybe upgrade to like a 600cc, maybe a Gixxer, or maybe a Ninja, and then they end up getting tired of their bikes quickly. And you know, buying and selling bikes can be a hassle. So this is something I think you're going to be happy with for a long time. And I really like the aesthetic of the Z900. This is one of the things that drew me to it at first. I've seen a lot, you know, I'm on Instagram. Make sure you follow me if you're on Instagram. Check out the description for the link to that. Whew, there's a bump there. So yeah, we have a fairly big bump right there, and you can probably hear the effect it had on my voice. But I mean, the bike handled it well. I could definitely feel it in my back, but it wasn't so much as to, you know, sometimes if you hit a bump like that on a bike that has maybe suspension that's really tight, it's gonna hurt. You're gonna feel it in your wrists, you're gonna feel it in your back. And I've had potholes that where it was so bad you had a little tank slapper with the handlebars. You kind of lose them for a second out of your hands, and sometimes you might lose the bike. But this bike handled it well, and I think you're gonna be okay with moderate pothole, poor conditioned roads. I know Michigan sometimes, depending on where you are, Michigan has some just terrible roads. California also has terrible roads, so just keep that in mind thinking about this purchasing a Z900. So we're up to 60 miles. You know, on my KTM we can get up to 60 miles an hour in fifth gear, and it's still and of course that's a 1290 with 170 horsepower. This bike more tame than that, so, and also fewer cubic centimeters worth of engine. But yeah, I mean, so you're gonna have a lot of fun on this motorcycle if you can deal with that engine vibration. You know, it's funny because I don't really feel it in my hands, I don't really feel it in my feet, which is where I tend to feel like an engine that vibrates a lot, or gives you a lot of that vibration in through your hands and feet. This one though is right up through the tank and into my knees, and you know, if you're really hugging that tank, it's somewhere else too. But overall, you know, I really enjoyed this bike. This bike definitely wouldn't have made my my top two. I still would have had a decision to make between the S1000R, the BMW, and the KTM Super Duke 1290R. Those were my top two choices. This, if I had test ridden this bike, it wouldn't have made it into that top two. So just for comparison's sake, you know, those bikes, you know, that's $1,000 closer in CCs and in your specs, your performance specs. But the 1290 is, you know, if you know about the KTM 1290, then you know. If you know, you know. So coming to the end of this ride, guys, if you've got any questions about the Z900, how it performed, maybe I didn't mention something about the bike that you were wondering about, make sure you leave those in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll try and hunt down that answer for you. And usually we have quite a few people commenting on these videos, so somebody else might be able to help you out too. But here, as we slow down and we turn into here, we can kind of get some more feel for the slow speed maneuvering. As we were coming out of the parking lot, we were doing quite a bit of slow speed. We even had a moment there where we had to wait at an uphill, and because of the approachable seat height here, especially for a shorter rider, standing on that hill wasn't intimidating at all. You know, again, I have you know, 12 years experience, so maybe those of you who are beginner riders, hills might intimidate you, so something to keep in mind. But the weight of this bike is not overwhelming. That's another thing to think about. Yeah, really confident in those turns. Maybe also help from the tires on this bike, which I will put down here in the description, or in the video actually, for you guys to mull over those numbers. But yeah, the bike performs well, slow speed, high speed. I mean, this all around excellent bike, excellent entry. And if you know anything about the Z900, you probably already know that this is a solid sport naked motorcycle. But guys, we're here at the end of the ride. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, make sure you hit that thumbs up down there, which is the like button. And if you haven't already, smash that subscribe button. Guys, if you are out there riding, please be safe. Be kind to one another. My name is Eric. I am that one guy, and I am out. Good times.